What do they say about the best ability?
Availability.
Well, thank you, Ryan.
Got it.
Availability is what all of these names have in common. Shedeur Sanders, obviously your headliner, with day 3 on the way. You heard him, now you see him. Ryan Wilson there. Mike Renner, Rand Carthon, Joe Musso, pleased to be with these gentlemen here breaking down day 2 of the draft and now on to day 3 as we look at some of the availables. And surprisingly, we've had the conversation. We will continue to do so until the name is called. Shedeur Sanders still on the board, Rand. We've examined the obvious landing spots from 1 to 2, now from 2 to 3. Does any of that change?
Honestly, I'm at an impasse with this.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to say at this point, right? Because all the teams that we perceive that needed quarterbacks, they have addressed it, with the exception of the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course.
Yeah.
So now, if you're Pittsburgh and you have a 4th, do you take him? And then what type of message does that send for this young man coming in the building? You passed on him 2 other times, and now, oh, all of a sudden we believe in you. So this is a situation I can't say that I've been a part of in my 17 years of being in the front office that I've seen, just because of the level of talent for a player, again, and I'll say it again, that with no criminal past, and this is just something else going on.
Yeah, I do think it's, you know, we like to say it's like everyone passed on him. It's actually only a handful of people that passed on him, right? Like most teams, they're just ignoring the quarterback position altogether. They're looking at the positions they need. They got their quarterback. They're looking elsewhere. It's a handful of teams. And if you had him in your building and you interviewed him and you just said, I don't want to coach that guy. I don't want to come to work every day and have that be the guy. Like, some people don't, and that's what it is. There's probably 5 or 6 teams, and that's what they decided. So, unfortunately for Shedeur, this is where he ends up. But it's not like 32 teams in the NFL conspiracy. It's just a handful that decided, you know, we're going to go elsewhere at this position.
You want to say something?
I was just gonna, I was gonna pose it to you a little bit differently, Ryan, because I know where you stand on the talent. I know where you graded him. I want you to take your professional hat off here and put that Steelers lid back on, because we all come to this game as fans first, and I know where your heart lies.
Yeah.
Do you want to see Shedeur Sanders as the quarterback of your football team?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Obviously, the quarterback situation is in flux in Pittsburgh, and Mike, a Green Bay Packers fan, even admits that Aaron Rodgers may not be the best situation for Pittsburgh at this point in his journey. And describing me a stronger coach in the locker room in terms of getting through to his players than Mike Tomlin, and all that taken together, it seems like that could be a situation where it could work. Now, we've also had the conversations that maybe you have to figure out what to do with George Pickens. Maybe he gets moved, and we know he's had some maturity issues at times, and Tomlin has actually addressed those. And, you know, Bryant McFadden, 2-time Super Bowl champ with the Pittsburgh Steelers, also feels like it makes sense to get a quarterback in Pittsburgh. And Shedeur Sanders obviously was going to be available almost certainly at 21. He's going to be available potentially at 123, which is the next time the Steelers are going to be on the clock on Saturday.
It's an interesting situation. It certainly is, and one, like you said, we have not seen before. There's no precedent here. That's why I posed the question as, do we open it up to different teams, ones that we might not expect? And we'll see, because expectation is now out the window for Shedeur Sanders. Let's address some of these names we do have on day 3 that present value. Offensive playmaker first and foremost. Mike, where do your eyes go?
I'm going Dylan Sampson, the Tennessee running back. I can't believe he's on the board. Now, he is a little undersized, but this is the same range Bucky Irving came off the board last year, and I think he could have a Bucky Irving-esque rookie season. He's dynamic. He ran the low 4.4s at his pro day, and he was the heartbeat of this Tennessee offense. He's also the youngest guy in the entire draft class. He's only 20 years old still, doesn't turn 21 until September. So all the things I watched from him on tape shows me that a guy that can succeed in today's NFL despite his size. I think someone's getting a steal in the 4th round here.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of names here. Gunnar Helm, the tight end out of Texas, I liked him a lot. I think Mike liked him as well. Didn't run well at the combine because he had a bum ankle. I think he has an opportunity to go pretty early on day 3. I also like Jalen Royals, Utah State wide receiver, ran in the 4.4s. Route running will be a question, and perhaps that's why he slipped a little bit, but he was the offense at Utah State. And then finally, I'll mention my guy. Mike's going with his running back. My running back's Brashard Smith, the former wide receiver out of the U, who's electric in terms of being a pass receiver coming out of the backfield, learning how to be a running back. But he ran sub 4.4 as well, and he provides that versatility that you like to see in what our buddy Pete Prisco calls airbacks, and I think he offers some of that.
And for me, I'm going to piggyback off of Ryan. Helm from Texas.
Love him.
saw him live versus Vandy, and just getting next to him to body type him, he is a large human. And when you see him move, you don't expect a person that size could move and move as fluid as he does. And so he's a reliable pass catcher, and just hope that he can get healthy and get that ankle right and show people who he can be in this league. Because I do think he's a 3-down tight end.
The beer truck with no brakes is that trip on the landing there. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball, and Rand, I'm coming right back to you here because I want a bit of your philosophy too. When you got to day 3 in a draft, did you find yourself looking at one side of the ball or the other? Was it draft specific? Did you feel like maybe there were home runs on one side of the ball where there weren't on another?
No, you just let your board speak to you. Let your board speak to you, and you almost want to take the grades off the board at this point, right? Because none of that either matters on day 3. And day 3 is the day for your scouts and your assistant coaches. This is where they shine. This is where their work comes in, and this is where you let them lead, and you sit back and you kind of, again, let the board speak to you. And for me, the one defensive player that stands out to me, and this has been a guy I've kind of fell in love with at a certain level throughout the process, and we're talking about Captain Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. You can build a case as to why you shouldn't because of the arm length, the testing numbers, but all I know is every year Jack got better, and then anytime it was a big game and the team needed a play, if JTT couldn't do it, Jack did it. And so, to me, this guy is going to be a really good football player, and I'll say it again, this guy feels AFC North to me.
Yeah, he absolutely does. I could see him being a potential Pittsburgh Steeler, the way you describe it there. Saw a couple names in the graphic, Kyle Kennard. I'm sort of surprised he's still here, edge rusher from South Carolina, but the guy that we've talked a lot about, Deion Walker, 6'7", 330, had a not great at all 2024, in part because of a back injury. 2023, coming out of that season last summer, he was a top 15 guy, and it just feels like if you see him here at the top of this best available defensive lineman board here, if he gets to the right place, and sometimes back injuries linger, but if he can get healthy, he can be dominant when he's locked in. Plays too high at times, but he's also 6'7", so you can sort of fix that with coaching as well.
The two guys I'm looking at on day 3 are short, but don't call them small. CJ West was one. He's 6'1", but he's 316. He ran sub 5 seconds at the combine, and he single-handedly transformed Indiana's run defense after transferring from Kent State last year. And the other one, David Walker from Central Arkansas, 6 foot, 263. No one stopped him when he went to the Bull Rush at the Senior Bowl. No one stopped him on tape when he went to it at Central Arkansas. Obviously not as impressive, but that's a body type that you ask offensive tackles, what do they not like to block? It's that one, because there's no recourse when a guy gets underneath your pads.
Fire hydrants.
Yes. Here I was rooting for a 5'11.5", couldn't get one. What are you going to do? We do turn our attention now to opportunity in day 3. Somebody is going to get, you mentioned a Bucky Irving. Somebody's going to get that player that makes a difference that maybe we didn't see coming, or to that extent. Giving you some numbers here, the Ravens with the most picks, 8. You have a group with 7 coming here on day 3 as well. The Bills, the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Niners. Big-time opportunity to exact change on rosters. Where do you see the greatest opportunity, Ryan?
I'm going to keep the running it back again and again until things change. They have 4 picks, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are they going to take a quarterback, and when are they going to take that quarterback? Pick 123 in the round 4, then they have a 5th, 6th, and 7th round pick. We've had conversations about Shedeur, obviously. Will Howard. They took him out to dinner prior to the Ohio State Pro Day. My guy, Kyle McCord, would he have an opportunity? They had interest in him as well. So we'll see with the next 4 picks if a quarterback happens to hear their name called, and then, of course, which quarterback it ends up being.
I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills because they have 7 picks, but there's not 7 spots to fill in this roster. Like, after what they've done already, they don't have a lot of places where a guy can make an impact. So with 3 5th-rounders, I expect them to go and be aggressive here early on, go up, get a couple guys that they really like. That's about it for that roster because there's not a lot more space.
I was initially going to go with Baltimore, and just because they have knocked this draft out of the park so far, and they have the most picks left with 8. So it's almost like you know that they're going to continue to do so. But listening to the list, it made me go back to my Rolodex, and I'm going with the 49ers. And here's why I'm going to go to the 49ers. I'm going to name off a couple names. George Kittle, Talanoa Hufanga, DJ Reed, DJ Jones, Jawan Jennings, Brock Purdy. 49ers got all those guys in day 3. And all those guys have become starters, some Pro Bowlers, some have gone other places and got paid. So this is where the 49ers have made their hay and made their money and built that program to what it is. So I'll roll with the Niners.
John, you hear your guy?
I got you, JL.
Time to go in day 3. The Niners, we will keep an eye on them. Gentlemen, great work throughout the night here on CBS Sports HQ as we put a bow on day 2 of the draft. Here's a look at your top 10 in day 3. Like day 1, the Titans will find themselves on the clock. You see a couple Jags picks in those first 10. Keep it locked right here on CBS Sports HQ for all your draft needs.